Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let's start the today information. The biggest argument you're going to hear from people is Iraq's money supply is too high. About $93 trillion dinar, which I agree is a lot, would be worth $25. It would be a break-even event. But Iraq has not done that for the last 20 years. Why is that? If they were going to redenominate their currency, they would have done it a long time ago, and they haven't done that. I believe they've had a plan all along to increase the value of the Iraqi dinar. The Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, has announced a series of measures to address issues affecting Iraqi banks restricted from dealing in U.S. dollars. Iraq is not going to conduct a rare RV event when they can't even bring the banks into compliance for handling dollars. However, improvements are expected in the coming days. Even though there's a crisis going on in the Middle East, one of the main things we should focus on is Iraq keeping to her reforms. Single quotes as the positive side of it. It really is. Because they keep progressing. It's non-stop. Zimbabwe is not Iraq. Iraq single quotes as inflation situation has been and is under control. However, when you look at the procedure Zimbabwe followed to bring its currency onto the world stage, what they did was introduce a new currency. If Iraq were to do the same thing and they remained a closed currency meaning not traded on the forex market, then they give a certain time frame in which to bring in your IQD to exchange it for the new currency. You would need to travel in order to participate. That would mean that you would need a passport. None of us thought Zimbabwe would pull up out of the gutter and into a stabilized economic position within 18 months. Iraq can do the same thing because Iraq's economy has always been better than Zimbabwe's. I have heard from a banking redemption contact already, which is very unusual. They are working this weekend. Now, remember it's tax season, so that may be why. I do not know if it's RV related or not. Just interesting. Question. So they are working on Easter weekend? Yes. So that has me very curious. PMF convoy just confirmed on camera entering Iran through Khorramshahr. Whether they're calling it aid, loyalty, or retreat. The Iran militia network is physically leaving Iraqi soil. Are we close? I think we're reasonably close. We've just got to see what happens with the war. The war is the critical part of this because at the end of the day, everything in Iraq has been paused and delayed until the war reaches an end. As long as they can reach some type of agreement or bring the war to an end, April will be legendary. Whenever you hear the HCL law has officially passed. That is huge news. Some people speculate the Iraqi dinar revaluation will happen just before the HCL law is passed. It's kind of like the chicken or the egg argument. Which one is going to go first? They're both very closely correlated. You will be well advised to stay far away from bank employees, wealth managers who get paid by their banks to sell you uninformed investors worthless paper investments designed to turn your wealth into their wealth. They are piranhas and can smell new blood miles away. What you want to do is find a reputable asset protection attorney who can set up a financial fortress that will mitigate or eliminate the 3 hurricanes of wealth destruction: lawsuits, taxes, and estate transference. After you do this, you can safely approach a wealth advisor as a corporate investor, which changes the ballgame entirely. You will have protected safe cash with which you can gamble on the stock market, hedge funds, programmed investment portfolios, etc. And not overspend on a game of chance. Remember, the house always wins. Iraq is going cashless. They're not telling us that they're not going to have any cash. They're just going cashless in the country. Everybody pretty much swipes the card in the United States. But We like to get some cash for paying gardeners, doing all the little different things that might be odd jobs and stuff, lemonade stands, all that kind of stuff. So you have some cash. We must keep asking ourselves, how could Dr. Shabibi be all set to reinstatement the Iraqi dinar in 2012-2013, yet it has not reinstated ... and that was well over 12 years ago? Connected to the past 20-plus years of corruption, President Trump is exposing the proxy Iranian government in Iraq and trying to free the people from it. This is really what this latest election in Iraq is. All about ... Will Iraq be able to break free from Iran after all? No Bond news yet ... Do know there are still lots of expectations, and many seem to think around April 2nd things start to rip for them. I hope it's true. If they are prosperous, we are prosperous. Times to me are surely looking really good for an exchange rate change that is expected at this time, because that's the project. They talked about the digital dinar, did they not? Didn't Olak talk to you about, we're gearing to launch the digital dinar? This is potentially close to getting an announcement from al-Sudani. Now we wait for Olak to have a conversation with us. I would assume within the next few days if they're talking about this reform to be stared after Eid. That's not very long from now. We're going to have to wait to see what they do. Budget tables. Approximately 200 trillion dinars with a deficit exceeding 64 trillion dinars. Iraq's 2025 budget tables have been sent to the Council of Ministers with estimates indicating that the budget will range between 180 and 200 trillion dinars, while the deficit could exceed 64 trillion dinars, according to members of the Iraqi Parliament's Finance Committee. The monetary reform education to the Iraqi citizens, that's what's going on right now. They are about to show you. Iraqi citizens, your lower notes IMO. They are about to explain the new exchange rate. They are to define the ATMs. I believe this monetary reform education will bring forth a literacy of your new exchange rate and purchasing power. These are the final moment of a long period of time for you, Iraq. And me. Hearing that Sudani will release the financial reform immediately after Eid. Eid al-Fitr will be ending on Liberation Day. Is it possible we see the finish line late on the 2nd? It is very possible we see it. Then, there was a lot of expectation for the weekend. It could be the 2nd, but no one knows the timing. Al-Sudani, Iraq is witnessing a state of recovery, growth, progress, and prosperity. Iraq is witnessing a clear state of recovery, growth, progress, and prosperity, and that we are working to advance this process. They've yet to do anything different. They spent about $50 million in printing currency, and it wasn't 000 notes. There's no reason for it. You can't spend $50 million while you're burning up money to print new ones, especially if they were perfectly good. Right now, 1 dinar is not even 1 US penny. It's like 9/10 of a penny, but soon 1 dinar will be equal to at least $1. Did I say it will paired? No, it will be equal to at least, they told you, $1. I got a feeling it might be $1.30 because they kept the exchange rate at 30 and 10. Let's see what happens. In country, at least $1 in value, not 1 penny in value, will give you Iraqi citizens' purchasing power. It's different for you, the rest of the world. You're going to watch the float. Iraq moves to profit sharing and new oil contracts. This is a few days old, but they are changing how they work their strategic partnerships. They are distributing pieces and parts from ongoing revenue from oil if you invest on those projects. Thank you for watching.